Hi, all my dear students. I'm your educator Amit Ajmani, and I welcome you all to Sri Jendra Rank Zone classes. I hope that all of you and your families are doing good and you are keeping up good health. So, students, what are we supposed to do today? We'll be continuing the chapter Formal Letters and Official Communication. This chapter we have completed in the previous class, and I told you that we will be discussing the exercise questions. So let us discuss the exercise questions of this chapter. But before that, let's have the summary of the chapter at a glance. What all we studied in this chapter, what all this chapter offered us. This chapter discusses the various formal styles of letter writing, including the circulars, the memos, the complaint letters, and the recovery letters. This chapter taught us about the written styles, right? So, all these written styles we have learned and we have seen that they need to follow a certain format. Why? Because they are issued in the company's name, and every organization has a particular set of format, and in generalized we saw all the formats. Moreover, it also taught us the language used, the diction, and the tone is different for each style of writing, especially when we discussed about the letters. The recovery letters were written in an altogether different way. The complaint letters altogether different, order placement letters, promotional letters, they all had a different tone attached to them, right? Because they all had a different purpose. So that is why special attention should be paid on style and tone while drafting any kind of official letters. Importantly, we studied that even though it was a complaint letter, there also we made sure that there was no personal remarks or prejudice. So this is what we need to remember while writing circulars or memos or any type of letters. We need to abstain from giving any kind of personal remarks, any kind of prejudice while writing formal letters. And in addition to all the above things, the letters must be circulated and dispatched well in time to avoid any kind of unnecessary delays, because all these letters are actually consisted of the information that needs to reach the target audience. Fine. So this is all this chapter taught us. Now let us see what we have learned. Now let us see whatever we have learned, are we able to implement our understanding and knowledge or not? So let us come to the questions. The first question says that you are the sales head of your company, Overseas International. This is the name of your company, and you are the sales head. You had dispatched 100 important letters to your branch offices using the services of a courier company named Courier and Company. So this is the name of the courier company through which you have been sending your letters quite some time now. As committed, the courier company failed to deliver the letters on time, due to which your company has suffered losses. So now, as the sales head of your company, you are required to draft a complaint letter for the same addressing it to the Director, Dispatch and Delivery of Courier and Company. So now all the information we can relate. Number one, the person who is writing this letter is the sales head of the company. The name is not specified, right? The designation and the company's name is given. So non-specific ABCPQRMNO. This is what you are going to sign yourself as. Second thing, the important information. This is a complaint letter. Whom we are making this complaint to? This letter is basically is a letter of complaint to the Director of the Dispatch and Delivery of this Courier and Company. And what is the complaint all about? What we need to include is, first thing, they fail to deliver our letters on time. And second thing that we need to highlight is that our company suffered losses because of their dereliction of duty, because of their non-commitment, because of their non-fulfillment of their commitment, because of their negligence, right? So let us see what all are the various points we are going to include and how. So while we'll be writing the answer, first of all, we need to mention the date the letter was sent for courier. To start with, okay, let us start with the very initial starting. First of all, we know that it is the letter format, the formal letter format that we need to follow. The self-address, the date, the sender's designation, which is the director, delivery and dispatch and delivery, courier and company. Then we'll be writing subject, non-deliverance of letters. Then we will start writing our letter, that this is with reference to the letters that were sent to your company to be dispatched. We need to mention the date, right? But we regret to inform that you have failed to fulfill your commitment. Next important thing is you have to refer to the significance, to the importance of delivering by an assigned date. That this was basically a tender quotation that needed to reach in time, keeping in view your goodwill in the market. We just trusted you. We have been sending letters for so many years now, but this time we were shocked to see that you neglected or you did not perform your duty well. Now, because of that, we have to refer to the losses that our company is going to bear. Why? Just because of their dereliction of duty, that they had done the late delivery of letters, right? So this is what you need to highlight, that how much losses your company will have to suffer because of their neglection. Also mention that this would affect further business with the courier company. We never expected this from a company of your repute, right? And state the reasons for having chosen that particular company, because obviously of their goodwill and because of always they have been on time. So that were the main reasons why we selected that company. That your company enjoys an enviable reputation in the market. Your company has that level of which the other people feel jealous of. You enjoy a great goodwill reputation in the market, right? So it was a kind of unexpected regret that you faced, because this time the courier company had failed to come up to your expectations. Then you need to use the salutations and date, location format. That is all according to details given in the complaint letter section that we have already done. We know already the format. Clear? So this is the kind of complaint letter that we will be writing, and this is all that we will be including in that. Got it? So I hope everybody understands it, and everybody now will be in a position to write this letter on your own. Let us come to the second letter. Now what he is saying in this letter or in this question is, imagine yourself as the senior manager of a company called Direct Solutions. One of your clients had ordered few software products which you have delivered. However, only half the payment has been received. In spite of repeated emails and phone calls, the client has not cleared the pending payment. So you are asked to draft a recovery letter for the same, referring to dire consequences that could be taken in case of unfulfilled payment. So this is a recovery letter just like any other normal recovery letter in which you have provided the product or you have actually given all your services, and now you are reminding them of paying the dues, and if not, then what kind of consequences, legal consequences they can face. All the relevant information that we needed is, number one, our designation. We are senior manager. As the senior manager, we will be writing this recovery letter. Our company's name is Direct Solutions. The product involved is software products. Amount, half has been received, remaining half is still pending. It's already mentioned that we have done repeated emails and already lot many phone calls have been made, so we can refer to this also, right? We need to write a recovery letter, and also we need to warn them about the dire consequences for further non-payment of dues. Clear? So everything is specified. Let us try to relate the key points. First thing, of course, use proper format. That we will, no doubt, we know the format. Second thing, now whenever we are writing such kind of reminders or recovery mails or letters, we always write and refer to the order number of the product along with the date of order and the date of fulfillment of order. So how do we start? If you remember, we have already done these type of letters when we were taking up the recovery mails. In that, with reference to your order number this, dated this, regarding the purchase of various software products, we regret to inform you that in spite of the order reaching you well in time, we are still to have the dues or the remaining payment for the same. This is the starting we are going to make. Next, we will quote the payment details and till when the full payment was to be made as per the terms and conditions of your deal. You need to remind them that as per the terms and conditions of the deal, 50% of the payment was to be paid in advance and the remaining amount was to be paid on the delivery of the product. Clear? So these were the payment terms. Now you make a sincere request to complete the payment. How you are going to do it? First of all, you will continue with the above point, that as per the terms and conditions, 50% was the amount to be paid in advance and the remaining was to be made by the day of the delivery of goods. The goods have been delivered almost 20 days back, right? But we are yet to receive the payment. We have already given a few reminders and tried to contact your accounts department through various calls. But till now, we never got any kind of satisfactory reply, nor have we received any payment. So, you are requested to make the payment of the pending dues. Failing which, now you have to state some serious, strict action that could be taken. Probably you would file a complaint or issue a legal notice. Now, since it is a software, you can't take the product back as it would have been installed by now, right? So that is why we will not be threatening them that we will take our product back. We can't do it. In case of solid products, you could have added that you will procure them back, but in this particular case, because it is a software that you are dealing in, so they have already installed, you can't take it back. So you have to make another kind of legal action, or you can file a legal notice against them. And side by side, you may suggest another date by which you expect the complete payment to be made. How you are going to write it? We have been dealing for such a long time, and if you will not pay the pending amount by this particular date, which pertains to 5 or 6 days after the date on which you are writing this letter, we will be forced to file a complaint against you and issue a legal notice, right? Once again, by the end, you are going to request them again. So kindly make the payment as per the terms and conditions by this particular date. That's it. This will be the end of your letter with a reminder once again. Okay. So this is the kind of recovery letter that we are going to write. Now let us try to relate the next question. In this question, what exactly we are being asked is, as the HR, head of your company, draft a circular to be distributed to all employees, informing them about certain changes in dress code. Also mention that these changes have been undertaken keeping in mind the benefit of female employees to avoid unwanted situations. So what all is the information that we are able to gather from this particular question? Number one, we need to draft a circular, and we are the HR head of our company. The circular is meant for all the employees, and the information that needs to be provided in this circular is about certain changes in dress code. The purpose of this change is keeping in mind the benefit of female employees and to avoid unwanted situations, right? So based on this information, now we need to write the circular. We will be using the circular format. In this, we need to mention the date. We need to mention a fictional circular number. You are already aware about the format. On the top left hand side, we write the circular number. On the right hand side, at the top, we write the date. Then after leaving a space in the middle, we write the circular heading, which is our main representing heading. Then we write the objective of the circular to all employees. That is the formal salutation. And after that, we will be writing that this circular is with reference to the certain changes in the dress code. Now, what are the changes in the dress code? You can relate them for male employees as well as the female employees. So, we need to mention few pointers for male and female employees separately, stating the expected dress code, that the males now will be the formal trousers and shirts and necktie and probably the blazers. Same with the case of females. You can also mention the color code if you want, right? And you need to state the date from which this change would be effective. Very importantly, you need to state the reasons for change in the dress code. This is all the information that you will be providing. And one more thing at the end, just simple reminder as well as a warning. You need to mention actions that would be taken against the defaulters. The language used, you already know that defaulters will be strictly dealt with and strict action will be taken against repeated defaulters. Fine. And at the end, you have to sign yourself as the HR. Got it, guys? So I think this is quite a simple circular and you should be able to relate it and write it. Coming to the next question. Now in this question, we have to draft a memo. For whom? For a CA firm, quoting the amount to be spent on stationery and office supplies for the first quarter of the financial year. So this is a memo to be sent. Fine. How we are going to write it? First of all, as per the memo, we will write the heading or the subject. Then we need to specify the number of stationery supplies needed. We need to name them separately as to what all things we will be requiring. For example, they may include the pens or the pencils or the voucher book or the ledger books, etc. etc. You need to specify the vendor and you need to specify the terms of delivery of goods, that these things will be supplied within 1 week of placing the order. Then signed by a name, the person with designation and date. simple memo that you can draft. Got it? So this is quite a simple memo. Coming to the next question. In this question, the examiner is saying that imagine yourself as the manager, Keller Kitchen Company. Write a letter to Taj Meet Sethi, the proprietor of Manjeet Kitchen Equipment, ordering various kitchen equipment for your newly opened restaurant. Specify all the necessary details. So this is an order placement letter. We are the manager. Our company's name is Keller Kitchen Company. We are writing the letter to Tajmeet Sethi, the proprietor. His company's name is Manjeet Kitchen Equipment, and we are ordering kitchen equipment for our newly opened restaurant. So these are the details that we need to keep in mind while writing this order placement letter. It's a kind of formal letter, so we already know what exactly will be the appropriate format of this letter. Accordingly, we will use it. Then we will provide the full particulars of goods which are ordered, in which we need to specify the product name. We can relate the brand name. We need to specify the quantity, and we may also put in various other specifications such as the catalog number or the model number or the color or size or weight, etc., if that is required or if you are able to write them. Now, after placing the order, mentioning all the details of your order, the quantity and the other specifications, next paragraph we will specify the desired receipt date as to when you are expecting to receive the order, along with the shipping location and the mode of shipping, whether you want them to deliver your order through rail or road or waterways. So this is your expectation level. Then you need to very clearly indicate the mode of payment, because you are buying, so you need to specify that how much payment you will be sending in advance, what about the rest of the payment, and how exactly the rest of the payment will be made. It will be through check, or will it be through cash, or any kind of transfers, or any kind of debit credit notes or something like that. You need to specify. And in this mode of payment, you also have to specify the date of payment as to by what date, by when the payment will be made. You also need to include a few things like the terms and conditions of the order. Like, you can make a reminder that if there is any substandard article, or if there is anything which is not as per the specifications you have ordered, then you have the right to cancel the order. Also, just give them a gentle reminder to do proper packaging so as to avoid any kind of damage in transit. Right? All these things you can relate. That it is needless to say that defective articles will not be accepted. It goes without saying that substandard articles will be returned to you at your cost. These were a few lines that we have already done and learned. while doing the letter order placement. So I hope you remember all those lines. You need to specify any 2-3 lines here, right? So this will be your order placement letter. Got it? Let's come to the next question. In this, what we are being asked is, as the office manager of AQ Electronics Limited, write a letter to the sales manager Standard Office Furniture Limited inquiring about their range of visible record system filing cabinets that you are interested in introducing in your main office. Also request the price lists and the catalogs. So this is a letter of inquiry. Important things to keep in mind. Number one, you are the office manager. This is your designation. Your company's name is AQ Electronics Limited. You are writing the letter to the sales manager, and the name of the company is Standard Office Furniture Limited. You have to inquire about their visible record system filing cabinets. You want to introduce them in your main office. You also have to demand for or request for their price lists and their catalogs. Got it? So these circle things are the ones which are to be included in our letter of inquiry. It's a formal letter, so we will be using the appropriate format, which of course we have been doing for so much of time, so we already know it. Next, you need to state clearly where you got to know about them. For example, advertisement or reference or previous business. So this will be our introductory first paragraph. Then you need to describe your need as to what exactly you want. You want to introduce the new filing cabinets in your main office. So you need to tell them your exact purpose so that they can suggest you, or they can guide you, or they can accordingly send you the product details. Fine. Now after stating your purpose, importantly, you need to list down clearly all the information that you need. You need to know about the prices. You need to know about any kind of discounts they are providing. You need to know about the various models that come in that particular variety. And what about the installation of the product? Who is going to do it? If there are any extra charges about it, then what are the extra charges? How much time will they take to deliver, as well as to fit all these and install all these things? What about the after sales service? So these are a few questions that you want to inquire, that are coming up in your mind, and you want the answers. So all these things you will be including in your letter. Also, you need to ask them to specify a desired date before which you need the information, or by which they are going to provide us with the information or with the delivery of the items. And end, you will be writing that kindly send us your price list along with your catalog earliest possible, so as to facilitate an early decision about placing the order. Clear? signing yourself as the office manager, AQ Electronics Limited at the end. So this is the end of your letter of inquiry. Clear? So I hope no difficulty in writing. You have already written letter of inquiries just like that only. You need to go through and revise what you have written there, and accordingly you can apply the exact details here also. Here, let us come to the next question now. In the next question, what he's saying is that Green Clean Limited is a firm providing its customers home cleaning services. As Suhail Tandon, manager of the firm, write a sales letter addressed to Anya Iyer describing your state of the art and environment friendly cleaning methods. So this is a kind of promotional letter, you can say. Detail why you have an edge over firms providing similar services. Also provide information about any discounts or offers you may be extending to your customers. So this is a promotional letter written by Suhail Tandon, the manager of Green Clean Limited. He is writing this sales letter to Anya Iyer. Who is Anya Iyer? We are not given any kind of detail. Now, what all is the information that is required to be included in our letter? Whatever is given in the question, we have to include it. It is must. Apart from that, we can use our own creativity and our own ideas, and we can include them also. But if there is certain thing mentioned in the question, that is must, that cannot be excluded. So in this, the must things are description of state of the art and environment friendly cleaning methods. Second important thing to be included is comparison between you and the other firms providing the similar services, and in that comparison you have to uplift your services. You have to highlight your plus points over others. Next thing which is must inclusion is discounts or offers. Clear? So these are the things we need to include in our this sales letter. So first of all, formal letter, use the appropriate format, of course. Then describe your services, that they are state of the art and environment friendly home cleaning along with your charges. Next point is compare yourself with other companies, that you are better than other services. Why? You have to give main focus on your environmental friendly part and any other USP you have got. For example, you use non-toxic, non-poisonous cleaning products, because of which they are safe for children as well as pets. Another thing, you have got police verified staff, right? Plus, you can also give any kind of assurance or warranties regarding your services in order to assure your customers the authenticity and the quality that you are guaranteeing them. So, you want their satisfaction guaranteed, and for that, you may include the testimonials from existing customers. So this is the pitch on which you are actually presenting yourself. Fine. Next comes the third part, that is any discount. So now you can actually relate the discounts. For example, the discount offers such as 10% discount for the first time users, or you may add certain discounts like 30%, 20%, 15% off, or you can combine the offers like with two cleanings one is free, or you can just supply them with various vouchers, any cashback coupons, or any extra other services that will be provided with one, right? So these are the kind of discounts that you are creative enough to think, and you can relate any one of them. After all these things, when you have totally provided all your details, all your services, all your edge points, all your discount and offers, then provide the contact details so that they may contact and you can go and pitch your sales there. So this is our sales letter through Sohail Tandon, the manager of Green Clean Limited. And these are a few exercise questions. I hope that you all have understood them, and I hope now that after going through all, you must be feeling confident, especially with all these solution key points, that you will be able to write them. But make sure before practicing anything, try to go through all the samples and all the formats first, so that you are able to relate how to start a letter, what to write in the middle of the letter, and how to end it. Same goes with circulars and memos. So this is all about official letters, formal letters, and official communication. Clear? And before ending up this class, students, now I have certain things I want to talk to you. Regarding what? Regarding the way you are reading, you are learning. Now, keeping the topic aside, it's between you and me now. The first thing is, I have a few complaints to make. This is quite normal and simple for the students to have complaints with the teachers and the teachers complaining about the students. It is but natural, it is quite obvious that we will be having complaints regarding each other. You will always be complaining as a student the kind of burden the teachers put on you, or how you are going to do, how you are going to take time, how you are going to do so much of work, etc. etc. And we, the teachers, we have different types of complaints. We have completed our chapter number 10, and it's been long that we have been associated with each other. I've been teaching you people, and you have been studying from me for many classes now, right? And this is the first time that I am complaining about something regarding you people. It has come to my notice that a few of you, they are not actually taking these classes seriously or the way they should have. Number one, you are actually not regular and consistently taking these classes, which is very, very wrong. Sri Jendra is working so hard in order to provide you with all the best teaching, with the best throughout the country, so that you may be benefited. And if you are not taking advantage of those efforts made by your school, your respected principal, and all the other staff member and teachers, this is really wrong, students. This is literally really wrong. You are skipping and missing the classes, which is of no use, obviously. Now, yet another problem is that even if you are attending and taking up these classes, the problem is you are not doing anything at home from your own side. Students, I've been telling this so many times that whatever you know, whatever you have understood is of no use, trust me, unless until you write that out. Nobody is going to ask you how much you knew. Nobody is going to ask you how well you understood. The main thing is, when asked, are you able to write? When asked, are you able to give them what they have asked you to do? And that too with proper representation and without making any kind of grammatical error. If you are able to produce it, if you are able to write that down with exact grammatical accuracy, proper presentation, proper formats, then only you are going to get marks. You will not get marks on what you knew, but what you write. You people probably are taking it very casually. I don't know why. You are not actually preparing for your school midterm exams or unit test. You all are grown ups. You all ought to be sincere. There are so many expectations from you by your parents and teachers and relatives and everyone, and you are actually being casual. Why is it so? I'm unable to understand. But by this, you have just wasted your time and have created a burden on yourself. Trust me, it is really wrong. You ought to have studied and learned side by side, which I always insisted. Every time we have completed a chapter, I have advised you people. Every time after every class, in the end, I have always wasted 1.5 2 minutes on motivating you or advising you that you should study side by side. If you have done, trust me, it was a very good thing you did, and you will be far better than many of the students. But if you have not done, that is a grievous fault. That is not a mistake you have done, that was a blunder, but it's never too late to start, right? You can never go too far that you can't take a U turn. You know already that it is a wrong thing that you have been doing. You are not kids anymore, you are grown up kids. You need to be responsible because so many people having their expectations associated with you, you can't break that trust. So, even if you have not done it before, please make sure to compensate for that time. Still, you have got time. It's not that tomorrow you are having your final exam. It's not like that. And for that, please make a schedule and study and learn accordingly. Take one chapter at a time. Not even one chapter, take a topic at a time. Do it thoroughly, do it properly. Go ahead, take the second topic. After doing it, take the third topic. Once you are through with 3 or 4 topics, now before jumping to the fourth topic or the next chapter, make sure you revise the previously done 3 or 4 topics so that you need to retain. Do less but do best. It's not the quantity that matters, it is the quality that matters. There is no point of so called learning 10 chapters when you could not retain anything. It's better that rather than learning 10 chapters, you do only 6. But those 6 should be such that any question coming from those 6 chapters, you should be able to score full out of full in that part. This is the way you should opt for, right? We are seriously making so much of effort just to make sure that you people get the benefit of our experience, our knowledge, and you should be selected for every exam that you are giving. But for that, it's not only us who can do it. We can only teach you, we can provide you with the best and best of the study material. We can explain the things one time, two time, 10 times. But the problem is we cannot learn on your behalf. We cannot give exam on your behalf. That is what you have to do. Always, before starting the actual class, I always greet you with all my dear students, all my dear students. What exactly are you doing to become so dear to me? So you need to do something. And the best part is, this is all that you are doing for yourself. All the chapters we have done, they have been completed from my side. Now it is your neglect that you have not done it. Getting my point? So please make sure that try to be sincere, try to be responsible, and we are like such only. We are of such attitude that we need somebody to motivate us or to guide us or to open our eyes and make us feel and realize what is right and what is wrong. We all know it, but we need some stick on the head, some motivational words, somebody just trying to tell us this is what I am doing right now. So, what all negative things, what all wrong things, what all carelessnesses, what all casual things you have done till now, it's all right, not an issue. You cannot go into the past and change them, but you can definitely make sure that from now onwards, those things are not repeated. You can make sure that you can compensate for the previously done errors. And this is what I want and expect from you people. So leave the rest. At the moment today we have completed the chapter 10th, formal letters and official communication. Do not start from the first chapter. Just, if my words have made some difference in your attitude, just start up this chapter from the beginning. Just try to understand the format of formal letters. Then try to relate each and every letter one by one. Relate it, read the samples, try to revise and repeat it to yourself as to what are the various things that you observed that must be included in that letter. Then come to the second, then come to the third, and once you have done the fourth, before continuing further, revise those four. So just take a chapter step by step, complete it step by step, and like this, start doing with all the chapters. I don't know whether you are going to do it or not, but I will really expect everyone, and I want to ensure you that if you do it like the way I am telling, after a few months, you will be feeling so relaxed, so good that yes, you followed my advice and you did it. If not, I cannot do more than that. I can only advise you, and once again, I cannot learn on your behalf. Would that have been the case? I would have definitely done that also, but you know that is not practically possible. And make sure, please, go through all the classes, attend all the classes. We are really working hard for you people and we really try to give our best. I really appreciate the efforts of Sri Jayendra and your respected teachers and principal who is so concerned about your education and who are actually we talk to them so we know that how much concerned these people are for you. So make sure you come up to the level of expectations, and even not that, try to take advantage of all the things that have been provided to you. So with these words, now I think the lecture is enough now. You must be getting bored, but I think It's really seriously a matter of grave concern, and I want you people to rethink about it. Clear? So now, time to wind up the class. The chapter formal letters and official communication officially completed. In the next chapter, we'll come up with the in the next class we'll come up with the next chapter. Till then, just think about my words and try to change as per the need. Clear? Hoping for a favorable response, hoping from a positive change in you, and hoping from that from the next class onwards, many of you will improve. Not all, I'm sure not all will be impacted by my so-called motivational words, but I expect at least a few to change their ways and come on track. Okay, guys. So good day, everyone, and have a great time. Thank you so much.